Have you ever wondered why some people grow older with grace, strength, and clarity, while others seem to fade far too soon? Why are there 90-year-olds hiking up hills and dancing at weddings, while others struggle just to get out of a chair? Is it just luck? Genetics? Or is there something more? The truth might surprise you, because only a small fraction of seniors, just 5%, can still do five simple but powerful things after turning 70. And those five things? They hold the secret to longer life, greater independence, and true vitality. So the real question is, will you be part of the 95% who slowly decline, or the 5% who thrive? So what are the five things only 5% of people over 70 can still do? Let's find out in this video. But before we dive in, I have to ask, have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a single video from me. All right, let's begin. Number one, getting up means everything. There's something deeply humbling about being on the ground. Maybe it's the way the floor feels colder as you age. Or maybe it's the realization that at some point many people stop being able to get up from it. Not because they don't want to, but because they physically can't. When you're young, getting off the floor is a non-event. Kids roll around in the grass, leap up laughing. Athletes pop up from push-ups without a second thought. But past a certain age, that simple motion becomes a test of strength, coordination, balance, and independence. I once worked with a retired firefighter named Jim, 74 years old. Big man, used to climb ladders like a cat. But one morning he slipped in the hallway while getting dressed. No broken bones, just pride. It took him 15 minutes in a nearby chair to get back up. That day changed him, not because of the fall, but because of what it revealed. His body was no longer capable of basic recovery, and that realization hit harder than the floor. The truth is, your ability to rise from the ground without assistance is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. Studies in Brazil and Japan have shown a direct correlation between the sit-to-stand test and all-cause mortality. In plain terms, if you can't get off the floor today, you're statistically more likely to need help tomorrow. And not just a cane, but maybe even full-time care. Why is that? Because this movement demands full-body coordination. Your legs must be strong, your core stable, your nervous system responsive. Lose any piece, and the whole system stumbles. Worse, the loss is rarely sudden, it creeps in. First, you stop stretching. Then you avoid kneeling. Then one day you're down and can't get back up. But here's the hope. This ability isn't lost overnight, and it can absolutely be regained. I've watched seniors go from barely pushing off the floor to practicing Turkish get-ups with confidence. It starts with movement, daily, deliberate, and disciplined. Not workouts for looks, but for life. Claire, a woman of great determination, started training at 62. Squats, yoga, breath work. By 70, she moved like someone half her age, because she refused to accept stillness as her fate. So I ask you, when was the last time you sat on the floor? More importantly, could you get back up? In the next chapter, we'll carry something heavier, your groceries, yes, but also the weight of strength. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe and share your story. Can you get up from the floor today without help? Let's talk in the comments. Number two, the grocery bag test. It doesn't sound like much, does it? Just a grocery bag, one hand. A short walk from the car to the kitchen. No sweat until it is. Carrying groceries might be the most overlooked strength test in aging. Not because it's physically extreme, but because it hides in plain sight. It's the kind of everyday task that says everything about your health without ever needing a doctor's visit. A few years ago, I worked with a woman named Dolores. She was 81, sharp as a tack, lived alone, took great pride in doing her own shopping. Then one day her neighbor found her sitting on her front step, groceries still in the car. "I just got too tired," she whispered, embarrassed. "My arms gave out." That day, Dolores wasn't sick. She hadn't fallen. She had simply reached the edge of her strength, and it scared her. Because if you can't carry a bag of food into your own house, you've lost more than muscle. You've lost freedom. Grocery bags require more than arm strength. They engage grip, shoulders, core, legs, and most importantly, stability. They test your endurance too. Can you carry the load and then climb the steps? Can you do it after a long day or when you're not feeling your best? Science backs this up. Research from institutions like the UK Biobank and Harvard Health have found that grip strength alone is an independent predictor of all-cause mortality. In plain terms, the weaker your grip, the shorter your lifespan is likely to be. But let's go deeper. Why does strength fade with age? The answer is sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass that begins as early as your 30s. If you don't train your muscles, you lose them. By 70, you could lose over 20 or 30% of your strength unless you fight back. And fighting back doesn't mean lifting heavy weights like a bodybuilder. It means consistency. Light dumbbells, resistance bands, bodyweight squats, farmer's carries. Strength isn't just for looks, it's for survival. Dolores joined a senior strength class 3 weeks after that moment on the step. 6 months later, she didn't just carry her groceries, she helped others carry theirs. So here's my challenge to you. Pick up a bag, walk around the house. Can you do it without strain, without shaking? If not, that's not weakness, it's a wake-up call. Next, we'll take that strength and climb higher, literally. Hit that subscribe button if this chapter made you reflect. And tell us below, how heavy was your last grocery trip? Number 3, the stairway to health. They say every step counts, but some steps count more than others. Climbing stairs, it's something most of us did without a second thought for decades. Racing up to grab your keys, taking them 2 at a time when you were late. But somewhere along the way, those same stairs start to feel different, a little longer, a little steeper, and then for some, impossible. Let me introduce you to Howard. At 69, he lived in a split-level home in Michigan, the kind with 3 short staircases. He told me once, the only thing scarier than climbing them is what it means if I stop. He was right. When you avoid stairs, not because you're lazy, but because you can't, it's a sign, a flashing red light from your heart, your lungs, your legs. You see, the ability to climb stairs without gasping for air isn't just about fitness. It's about survival. The heart is a muscle. If you don't challenge it, it weakens. And unlike your biceps, you don't see it happening. You just feel tired, then breathless, then frightened. But by the time most people notice it, decline is already well underway. Multiple studies from Harvard to Mayo Clinic show that stair climbing is a strong predictor of cardiovascular health. One particular study even found that people who could climb 4 flights of stairs in under a minute had dramatically lower risk of early death. That's just 4 flights, not Everest, but this isn't just about your heart. Climbing stairs also activates your largest and most powerful muscles, your quadriceps, glutes, and hamstrings. It trains balance, rhythm, and joint stability. When these muscles weaken, stairs become not just tiring, but dangerous. Howard knew this. Every morning he climbed his stairs as if they were a mountain, slowly, steadily, breathing through it. If I can do that, he said, I can do anything today. At 76, he still climbs them, twice a day, just to remind his body who's boss. It's not about heroics, it's about momentum. When you stop climbing, your world gets smaller. You avoid places with steps. You stop visiting the upstairs bedroom. You shrink your life without meaning to. So here's your mission. Find a staircase. Just one. Try climbing it once, twice, safely, slowly. Feel your heart? That's life calling. Subscribe and leave a comment. How many stairs can you climb today? And more importantly, how often do you try? Number 4, memory is a muscle. When I was in medical school, one of my professors said something that stuck with me. The brain is like a library. If you stop visiting, the lights go out. Memory loss is one of the scariest parts of aging, not because we forget where we put our keys, but because we start to forget who we are. Yet what if I told you that losing your memory isn't as inevitable as you think? That, like muscle, memory is something you train or lose. Let me tell you about Samira. She was 82 when I met her, retired math teacher, lived alone in a little cottage in Vermont. Sharp as a tack, she still did the crossword in ink. When I asked her the secret to her memory, She leaned in and whispered, I don't let it sleep. Every day, Samira challenged her mind. She learned Spanish in her 70s. She taught herself to play piano. She even kept a journal where she forced herself to recall 5 things she did the day before without looking anything up. She knew memory wasn't magic. It was maintenance, science agrees. A 2019 study from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that seniors who regularly engaged in cognitive activities like reading, puzzles, or learning new skills had significantly lower rates of dementia. Why? Because memory isn't stored in one place. It's spread across networks. And when you stop activating those networks, they fade. You see, the ability to recall a simple list of 5 things isn't trivial. It's a snapshot of your brain's current wiring. Can you focus? Can you retrieve information? Are your neural pathways awake or asleep? And it's not just about games. Your brain needs physical fuel too. Cardiovascular health directly affects cognitive health. When your heart pumps well, your brain gets oxygen and nutrients. When it doesn't, the brain suffers first. That's why physical activity and mental clarity go hand in hand. Samira knew this too. She went for a walk every morning, even in the snow. She said the rhythm of her steps helped her solve problems in her head. Walking clears my mind, she said, so it can fill back up again. So what are you doing today to stretch your memory? Not tomorrow, today. Can you list 5 things you did yesterday? 5 things you want to do tomorrow? Can you have a deep conversation without checking your phone? Don't forget to subscribe and tell us, what's your favorite way to keep your mind sharp? A puzzle? A book? A challenge? Let's share ideas below. Number 5, the power of purpose. Let me ask you something that most doctors never will. Why do you get up in the morning? For years, I've focused on heart rates, blood panels, and mobility scores. But the longer I practiced medicine, the more I realized none of that mattered if a person had no reason to keep going. That's why I want to tell you about Thomas. He was 86 when I met him, a retired jazz musician with trembling hands and knees that ached in winter. But every Tuesday, like clockwork, he played saxophone at a local community center for a group of special needs teens. They don't care about my arthritis, he laughed. They just want the music. Thomas had something most people lose with age, a reason to matter. Purpose isn't fluff. It's not a Hallmark card. It's biology. Studies from Japan's Osaki cohort and research published in The Lancet have shown that people with a clear sense of meaning live longer, recover faster, and have lower rates of depression and disease. One study even found that having a purpose reduced mortality risk more than exercising regularly or quitting smoking. Why? Because purpose regulates your stress hormones. It boosts immune function. It keeps the brain engaged, the heart steady, the body in motion. When you believe you're needed, your body fights to keep you around. But here's the hard truth. Many people lose their purpose after retirement, after the kids move away, after the career ends. They drift, they disconnect, and slowly, without realizing it, they begin to fade, not just socially, but biologically. That's why the most vibrant seniors I know, those in the 5%, create purpose. They volunteer, they mentor, they take care of grandkids or pets, they write memoirs, they grow gardens. They show up even when it hurts because they know that contribution is the cure. Purpose isn't something that finds you. It's something you build, day by day, small act by small act. So what's yours? You don't need to change the world, but you do need to engage with it. A neighbor, a passion, a cause, something that says, I'm still here, I still count. In the next chapter, we're pulling all this together, strength, memory, movement, meaning, and showing you what it really takes to be in that rare 5%. Subscribe and comment below. What gives you purpose right now? Big or small, share it. You might inspire someone who really needs it. Building your 5% life. By now, you've probably realized something. The 5%? It's not a club you're born into. It's one you build your way into. One habit, one challenge, one morning at a time. I've met people in wheelchairs who have more strength than folks who run marathons. I've watched 90-year-olds with clearer memories than their grandkids. And every single one of them had this in common. They didn't wait for health, they worked for it. You want to be in the 5%? Start by acting like them before you feel like them. That's the trick. The action comes before the outcome. Here's how they live. They move every day, not to burn calories, but to keep function. They train their bodies, not for looks, but for life. They challenge their minds, not to impress, but to stay sharp. They connect with others, not out of obligation, but for joy. And they wake up with purpose, not because life is easy, but because it still matters. They don't make excuses, they make choices. And so can you. Don't wait until you fall to wish you'd done something sooner. Don't wait until your mind fades to wish you'd read more, learned more, lived more. Start now while you can, while you're here. If this video has shown you anything, let it be this. Strength is not a gift. Memory is not luck. Independence is not an accident. They are built, brick by brick, step by step, day by day. Maybe you can't do all 5 things right now. That's okay. What matters is that you start. Start moving. Start challenging your mind. Start showing up for your own life, even in the smallest way. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. Because the difference between those who merely age and those who rise in their age, it's not money, it's not genes, it's the quiet, determined decision to keep living with purpose long after the world stops expecting it. So be that person, the one who doesn't fade quietly, the one who walks with strength, speaks with wisdom, and lives with heart. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. Your journey to the 5% life starts today.